Machado having a little pregame fun with the new Braves mascot, whose name is Blooper. I tried to track down some information for you what Blooper is.
Right.
I can't seem to find an answer.
Did they say what he is funny? I guess that's what they're going with.
Could be
and lovable. Kids love him. That's what they're looking for. And it looks like Manny Machado was having a good time with Blooper.
Was.
You know, and he's hoping Manny Machado's hoping I can have a few bloopers that land in there. Yeah.
Take a look at the lineup tonight for the Dodgers, brought to you by 76 with Jock Peterson to lead things off. Then it is Machado, Muncy hitting third and starting at second. Grandal, Kemp, and Bellinger through the middle. At short, Taylor, in center, Verdugo. First time this season, Dave Roberts has sent the same lineup out there in back-to-back games. And it will face off with the National League All-Star, Mike Foltynewicz, who is putting together one of the best stretches in the National League for a couple of months with a sub-1 earned run average over a 9-start stretch. But his last 3 times out, not nearly as good. The ERA close to 7. Off we go with a fastball strike.
And when you look over those last 3 starts, he has allowed 14 runs over those last 3 starts. But 13 of those 14 just came over 3 innings. So he really looked over those last 3 starts where he's gotten 3 innings that just got away from him. Other than that, he's been lights out because only allowing 1 run in the other 15 in the 3rd innings that he's pitched over those last 3 starts.
Is 1-1 to the outside corner for strike 2. Foltynewicz is 26 years old from Minooka, Illinois, which is just outside of Chicago. Having a breakout season in his 5th year in the bigs. Roxon deals 1-2 and gets Peterson swinging with his slider that the league is hitting 130 against. 1 out. Closed captioning tonight brought to you by the Metropolitan Water District of Southern California. For tips and rebates, visit bewaterwise.com. Up comes Manny Machado. They were able to track down the ball for Manny's first Dodger home run. And he said that he is kind of a collector of stuff like that. He plans on framing his first Dodger jersey as well.
But they didn't disclose what he had to trade for that ball?
No. Oh. That's ball 1. The home run was a no-doubt shot. Got out of here in a hurry against Anibal Sanchez.
Got a fastball over the heart of the plate. He does not miss. He crushes it on a line. Got out in a hurry, and he knew it right off his bat.
First with the Dodgers, but 25th overall this season. For the American League All-Star. Line to center field in front of Inciarte for a base hit.
That's why you play with Blooper before the game. He has hits when you play with him. So that's why Manny Machado probably heard that. Says, hey, I'll mess with the mascot and I'll get on top of 97 miles an hour and take it up the middle.
So Machado's on base streak, a career best 27 games now. First base runner of the night comes in front of Max Muncy. Ball 1. Dodgers winning 8-2 last night. 7 shutout innings from Rich Hill. Looked fantastic. And they've taken 3 of the first 4 from Atlanta this season. That's in for a strike. 1-1. 4-3 on this road trip. Started in Milwaukee, taking 2 of 3 from the Brewers. Dropped 2 of 3 in Philadelphia. And played 4 here in Atlanta before going home for Monday. 2-1.
We were talking about the offense yesterday, how well they swung the bats, and even Alana touched on it. Every spot in the lineup had a hit except for the number 3 spot, which Max Muncy. And when you score 8 runs, 12 hits, and the way he's had a year, it's hard to believe. You say, well, Max Muncy didn't get a hit. You're like, wait, what? He didn't?
Yeah.
Usually when his team is scoring or anything, he's right in the middle of the offense prowess, showing off the power this year. and earn a spot in the middle of that lineup.
There's been a couple times where he's gone into slumps that everybody goes into. Right now he's won for his last 16, but it seems like anytime he does, he quickly comes out of it with a big stretch. It's a great stop by Suzuki. The count goes full on Muncy.
Now he's able to just snag that slider, keeping the guy off second base.
One on, one out, 3-2. Got him swinging the same way that he got Peterson.
Looking for the pitch before, he kind of pulled it too much, and talking about Suzuki making a good stop. That one, much better job. 3-2. You're not thinking slider, you're thinking a guy with a fastball that averages 97 miles an hour that he's going to come at you to try to put you away with that. So that ball looked like the fastball in the spot, just drops out.
Ball one on Grandal. You mentioned the velocity for Foltynewicz. Hardest average fastball in the National League. Walker Buehler would be tied with Foltynewicz if he had enough innings to qualify. 2 balls, no strikes. People around here would tell you, though, they'd like to see him maybe pull back on that a little bit, because the biggest issue for him is controlling it. 97, but can he locate it? So far, no.
And there are times where when you're throwing 97, 98, and if you pull back a little bit, we saw that right there, that was 95. There has a tendency to be more movement on the ball than there is at that higher velocity. Not always, but I mean, the reason I say not always, because we just came from the Phillies and you saw Dominguez throwing 97 with movement, 98 with movement, 99 with movement.
3 balls, 1 strike on Grandal, leading baseball in several categories this month. Fouls it back and the count goes full. He's still reaching base, and keep in mind it's July 27th now. He's getting on base more than half of the time this month. There goes the runner from first. Grandal hits a fly ball to center field for Ender Inciarte. And Mike Foltynewicz with a scoreless first inning. Clayton Kershaw's second start of this second half tonight in Atlanta. His first pitches on the other side. Under 5 runs per game, and here's their starting 9 tonight, brought to you by 76 with Ronald Acuna Jr., the 20-year-old rookie, to lead it off. Then Albies, Freeman and Markakis. That's 3 straight All-Stars, 2 through 4. Suzuki the catcher. Camargo's at third, and Inciarte and Swanson round that order out in front of Fulton Evans. Kershaw started his second half Saturday in Milwaukee. Gave up 4 runs, but 3 of them were unearned, leading to his first loss since April.
Yes, it's coming off the DL. 2-1 with a 2.48 ERA in those 6 starts. His last 5 starts versus the Braves, he is 3-0 with a .56 ERA.
Pretty darn good. Yeah, he's never lost to Atlanta in his career. Acuna Jr. takes strike 1. And that includes a couple of starts when these teams faced off in the postseason in 2013. Kershaw pitched game 1, had 12 strikeouts. Pitched the clinching game 4, 6 shutout innings. Drops a curve in on Acuna, and he's ahead of him 0-2. Ronald Acuna Jr. counted for the 2 Braves runs last night with a long home run. Came into the year as the #1 prospect in all of baseball. His first visit against Clayton Kershaw has him behind it 1-2.
We know when Clayton Kershaw has command of that fastball, and especially on the outer half, especially to righties, when you have to look over that, it makes that back foot slider so much more effective.
That's something Dave Roberts talked about today, Nomar, is that glove side, so that would be inside to right-handed hitters, outside to left-handed hitters. That's something that Kershaw has always been able to do. But a big part of his evolution through the years has been his ability to throw arm side, which is outside to a righty, inside to a lefty. Jam foul.
Well, that's the book on Clayton Kershaw. The book is swing early. I mean, this year, you know, batting average against him is close to 400 on the first pitch. But you also know he's trying to get ahead, and you also look in, if you're a right-hander, look in early. So if he can accomplish that one on the outside, and you know he has these other put-away pitches. So now I can't look inside. Now I got to look away if I really want to attack that first pitch. And it actually opens up the inside even more.
'30-year-old from Texas winds and pitches. Acuna rakes it foul. Eighth pitch coming, and it finishes him off. It is the slider for the first out of the night.
We saw this with the inning before. We saw Fulton Evans. He gets Muncy to swing when you're expecting a fastball. Guys who know throw hard and have command of it, like Kershaw. You're going, okay, I'm going to look for that fastball, especially early in the game. You're not thinking that he's going to come with the slider to put you away. When you think in the fastball, so he doesn't want to put me on base, walk me early.
Ozzie Albies now goes after the first pitch, rolls it softly to third, and it's foul. Yeah, so you have a guy on the mound who, as you've talked about, everybody is aggressive against. And you've got a team and the Braves that are more aggressive than any other in baseball, regardless of who they're facing. The highest swing percentage in the National League. But what makes them unique is that doesn't come with a lot of strikeouts. They're able to put the ball in play with that high amount, with that high swing percentage. #1 contact percentage in the NL as well. 0-1 to the All-Star Albies. 0-2.
So that if you're Clayton Kershaw, what that tells you is don't be afraid to pitch a contact. That it's okay to. It's not about striking everybody out, but it's about making those quality pitches so that they do. I can try to possibly miss the barrels. And what that can also allow for Clayton Kershaw to do too is go deeper in the games. He can be more efficient.
Kershaw got Acuna with a slider. Albies flies one the other way that sends Kemp back a few steps to up and 2 down. And there are some matchups in baseball within individual games that are worth the price of admission alone, and this would qualify as one of those. Clayton Kershaw against Freddie Freeman, who at this point may be the front runner for National League MVP. And happens to be the best left-handed hitter against left-handed pitching in baseball.
Freddie didn't thought he was able to hold up on that one.
Rolls one to the left side where Manny Machado waits. Some soft contact with a strikeout sprinkled in, and a 1-2-3 first for Clayton Kershaw. Off and rolling in Atlanta. No score. Spotlight. A year ago, these were Atlanta's corner outfielders, and they rated very poorly. Looked like a couple of guys that had seen their primes come and go, but here we are in 2018, and they were two of the starters for the National League in the All-Star game.
You know, when I look at, we know about Matt Kemp, obviously, baseball fans who wear that Dodger uniform, gets traded, and then we know what we've seen from him this year has been outstanding. MVP type season.
Kemp leading off this second. 1 ball, 1 strike.
Markakis, though, on the other side, I think he gets under the radar a little bit. When you look, actually, you know, he comes into today 25 hits shy of 2,200 career hits.
And you don't think of him. I'm not saying you, Nomar. I'm just saying in general, people don't tend to think of him as the elite hitters, one of the elite hitters over the last decade or so. Kemp chases and misses badly, and Foltynewicz with 3 early Ks. Yeah, Markakis' first All-Star game of his career here at 34 years old. More service time than any player ever to go to his first All-Star game. And by all accounts, it's happening to one of the good guys.
Yeah. I think he's just flown under the radar. He's just been solid, consistent plays an entire season. You know, he's always playing over 150 to 160 games a year.
Here comes an 0-1 to Cody Bellinger. And a knuckler that's gloved on a bounce by Dansby Swanson. Nice play, 2 out.
was mistakenly writing a base hit in on my scorecard because he hit it so hard, and it should have been a base hit. They were playing him perfectly, and that was also a great play by Swanson. He made that play look easy, and that was not easy because it was hit so hard, and getting into position to react and still glove that.
Two up and two down, and here's Chris Taylor. Drove in another run last night. Third in the National League in July, 19 driven in. First pitch breaking ball is up. Stroked foul. It's 1-1. Now Fultonevich, we're talking about the rough numbers the last few times out. He started his second half Sunday in Washington. Gave up 4 runs. You mentioned 3 of those came in the first inning. Season high 9 hits allowed, though. His 1-1 delivery is a fastball at 97 to the corner. Good luck with that. 1-2.
That's one of those, as a hitter, if he is hitting that on a consistent basis, it's going to be a long day for me as a hitter, because that was just nasty.
And that's the thing with him. If he locates, you're in trouble.
But there was also the pitch before that got 95 in the middle that Chris Taylor fouls off. Those are the ones you remember. You're like, all right, there's the pitch. I had my chance. Now you're hoping to get another one, and he did.
Yeah, another one.
See, those are the ones that are frustrating. You know, a lot of times you talk about, wow, that put away pitch to sliders, and he maybe struck him out, but there were 2 pitches in this at bat that you think about, well, I didn't even need to get in that position that I possibly could have got a hit on. He fights off a nasty one there, stays alive.
Another 2-2. Got him with a fastball to 97. Bookend strikeouts on a 1-2-3 second for Fultonevich. Bottom of the second. After Kershaw worked the 1-2-3 first, it'll be Nick Markakis to lead off this second. The 34-year-old all-star for the first time. We're talking about how under the radar he's flown in his 13 years in the majors. Part of that is his personality, his style. His manager Brian Snitker calls him a boring pro. When he says that as a compliment.
Yes.
And that's taken as a compliment by Nick.
It means that you do not have to worry about him. No maintenance. Goes about his business and gets the job done.
Said he never takes anything off. Snitker said that about him. Never takes an inning off. Never takes a play, a pitch. Mr. Steady. Waits on an 0-1 from Kershaw. And hacks one to left. That sends Peterson back. Still going. Not going to get there. It's a double. They'll open the second for Markakis.
Well, the boring pro just hit a boring double right over the left fielder's head. Did a good job staying on that ball and driving it. It just kept carrying you. Jock Peterson looked like he might have had a beat on it, but you could tell by the way he was going after it that it was just carrying on him. It wasn't one of those where you can just turn around and run to a spot and know that's where it was landing, because the way it had a tail on it, the way it was driven, you just couldn't reach it.
So the leadoff man in scoring position for Atlanta, and here's the catcher, Kurt Suzuki. Fouls it off, strike one. Now Markakis teammates with his brother-in-law, his old Orioles teammate Ryan Flaherty. They married sisters, but they met while they were in Baltimore. But Flaherty says that he's the same exact guy even at family functions. He just kind of sits there and observes. Punch towards right center. It'll sink down. Markakis didn't get a great read on it, so he stops at third, and they're at the corners.
Well, Kurt Suzuki doing his job. He was trying to go to the right side, especially with the man on second base. You can just see that swing. He does a good job doing that, because that's a breaking ball coming in. You want to pound him in because you're trying to get that ground ball to the left side so he doesn't move the runner over. He's able to fight that off. Yes, he didn't hit it hard, but that was his approach and he executed it.
After a 1-2-3 first for Kershaw, Braves at the corners with nobody out here in the second. And the young third baseman Johan Camargo takes ball one. Camargo over the last month hitting .320. Prior to that, the average was .220. Got a chance to give Atlanta its first lead of the series. Bounces one back to Kershaw, who's got Markakis hung up. They tag him out. Runners go to second and third.
Well, they're able to get Markakis. Good job by Clayton Kershaw, but an excellent job by Markakis. Because even if he thinks he might have made a mistake here by going and getting caught, but staying in the rundown enough so it allows the runners to get to second and third. They're actually probably in the same, they're in the same spot as it would have been if he had just stayed at third, because Clayton probably would have gone to first with that ball, got the lead runner over there. They would have had a runner at second, so it would have been second and third, one with one out. Good job on Markakis.
7-hitter Inciarte, ball one. For 3 in last night's game, but a hot start to this second half since Brian Snitker removed him from the leadoff spot and put him back down near the bottom of the order. Two and up.
There's been a few changes that manager Snitker has made, and it's really helped the guys. One, we just saw with Camargo, we were talking about him. Once he moved him to third and said, okay, leave them more permanently, he's really done better. Inciarte moving him down the lineup, and Acuna to the top of it.
Hit up the middle near the bag. It's Taylor in time. The Braves have taken the lead as Suzuki comes in to score.
that's where that rundown really helped by Markakis. Thought you might have been able to get the guy out at home. The guy who's trying to score would have been huge and possibly have it at first and second, but instead the rundown makes it second and third, and it sets up for that RBI fielder's choice there, or RBI's ground out for Inciarte.
2 gone, and the 8-hitter Dansby Swanson stands in. Swings away and misses. Well, this year they have Acuna, top prospect in baseball, just debuted. The last couple years they had Swanson, who was the first overall pick, came over in the Shelby Miller deal, was a top 5 prospect in all of baseball, but in his first full major league season hit just .232. Partway through it was sent back to the minors for 2 weeks. On an 0-1 pitch, he takes it by the hands for ball 1. Year 2 in the majors in a full-time role has been better. It's just folks are maybe adjusting their expectations a little bit, even though he's only 24 years old, even though he's only in his 2nd season. He was looked at as one of the saviors of this franchise before he came up. 1-2.
For Swanson, it's just about getting consistent with his bat, because his glove, there's no question about his glove. He is as smooth and as solid as they come at shortstop.
Yeah, rates is one of the best in the National League, both with the numbers and with the eye test. He's got Camargo at third with 2 out in the 2nd. Doing his first at bat of the series after Charlie Culberson started last night. Choking up with 2 out and 2 strike. And it takes low. Kershaw looking to limit the damage. He fires 2-2 and a pop-up. Will Grandal have room? Not quite. And even if he had caught it, wouldn't have counted. He saw home plate umpire Quinn Wolcott point up to the screen and say that it had made contact with the netting near the top. We'll do the 2-2 again.
It's good effort by Grandal. But it was a good job by Quinn Wolcott, getting in the proper position. I mean, he ran over, sprint over there, and was right against the fence and saw that it hit it. And it didn't hit. It wasn't one that you can really tell you. He was there right on it to notice that it nicked the fence at the top before it came down.
So another 2-2 and a curve taken for strike 3. Braves get 1, but that's all. To the 3rd we go in Atlanta. brought to you by the Southern California BMW Centers. Hurry in today for the BMW Summer On Sales event for exceptional offers. Details at SoCalBMW.com. Top three, Dodgers trail the Braves 1-0. Joe, Nomar, and Alana, game 2 of the 4 in this series in Atlanta. Mike Foltynewicz, 4 Ks over his first 2 innings of work, giving up just 1 hit. Single to Manny Machado. And he'll face 8, 9, and 1 here in the 3rd. Alex Verdugo, another 2-hit night last night. Takes strike 1. And you've continued to like the way that Verdugo's looked in the box since getting called back up.
Well, there's calmness that he has as the pitch is coming. You can see, even though he's upright, but there's a calmness to him. And then when he sees that ball that he might get, and in the moments where he takes a big swing, he doesn't get cheated. But then there are times when you can also see him just shorten up. And that big swing isn't every single time. There are times where he'll just going, okay, shorten up. Just got to put that one in play. Maybe go the other way with it. But he takes his walks. I mean, he's reached base safely in 11 of the 13 games he's played with the Dodgers this year.
Foltynewicz missed his spot, and because of that didn't get the call from Walcott, and it's 2-2. Well, the Dodgers last few years have been very hesitant to include Verdugo in any trade, even though everybody asks for him. I'm talking about him as an advanced hitter for a while, and part of what he's advanced in is his approach. Very gifted, very advanced when it comes to everything beyond the swing. Leading off this 3rd and hitting a high fly ball to center field. That ball's way back there. Alex Verdugo hits it out of here. A solo shot to straightaway center to tie the game in the 3rd.
Well, this is what we were talking about from the approach. He gets a ball, gets him to stay in the middle of the plate. They wanted it away, but he stays on it, drives it to center field, and he thought he got it too right when he hit it. He wasn't necessarily running out of the box as that ball was carrying to center field, the big part of the field. And he was right.
Now Kershaw, 1 ball, 1 strike. On a 96-mile-per-hour fastball for Mike Foltynewicz. Alex Verdugo hits his 2nd career major league home run.
He wasn't excited when he got back. No, he was just fired up, going out there, high fives everyone. When you see somebody coming in that excited, I'm kind of nervous to give them 5 because they come at you, really slapping your hand really hard. Like, all right.
Boy, the number of home runs the Dodgers have hit this year. I bet Chris Woodward's developing some calluses over at 3rd from those high fives. Kershaw earns the walk.
Calluses and also different handshakes for different guys coming around.
That's right. That's mentally taxing.
Yeah. How do you remember?
Top of the order now. And you get a bit of a glimpse here with what the problem has been for Mike Foltynewicz in his career. And that is when one thing goes wrong, things tend to spiral south very quickly. Through the Dodgers' first 2 innings, but then the home run to Verdugo, and on 5 pitches walks the opposing pitcher. Jock Peterson, strike 1. And he said his key to breaking out this season has been doing a better job of keeping those moments from spiraling out of control.
Right, he really has. But then we talk about his last 3 starts where he's given up those 14 runs, and that's where the glimpses have come back. Because in 1 inning he allowed 5 runs. Then another game in 1 inning he allowed 5 runs, and then in 1 game he allowed 3. So that was it. You know, one other run in those last 3 starts, and all the other innings combined.
Yeah, so those are 3 individual innings of at least
Yes.
3. Nothing else.
Nothing else.
Falls behind Peterson, now 2-1. And so where did this new ability come from? See that tattoo there? That's a tattoo of a jet. He said that the key to breaking out and the key to controlling his emotions was becoming a dad. Falls behind Jock, 3-1. Michael Jet Fultonevich was born this offseason. And he said besides giving him new drive, new motivation, wanting to be great for his son, he doesn't want his son to have a dad that he's looking up to and watching him freak out on the mound and complain about bad calls. Peterson with a bullet foul, full count. Didn't want his kid to look up to his dad and see a sore loser out on the mound. So he's got a tattoo of the jet on his finger, and anytime things start to go south for him, he looks down there and reminds himself of what he's doing it for now.
And that's right before he was headed out before the game, out to the bullpen to get ready.
Peterson down on strikes, 1 out. It's pretty cool. You don't see many pitchers, many players that close to game time be able to soften up like that.
Actually, that was one of the things I noticed. I noticed that right before the game that he was over there, and usually you see that pitcher, it's game face, it's going on, you block out everything, there's that tunnel vision, but this is, like you talked about, this is what helps him on the other side. Sometimes you may be going too much on that one and getting carried away. This definitely puts everything in perspective.
Yeah, he says it's totally changed him and changing his career. Manny Machado flips the first pitch that he sees into the seats. First inning single, extending the on-base streak to 27, which is the longest of his career. It's the second longest in the majors right now, trailing just Alex Bregman of the Astros. Be fun if both those guys kept it up, and a week from now they had the dueling on-base streaks going head-to-head next weekend at Dodger Stadium. One and two. Kershaw at first, 1 out, and a tie game in the third. Machado jumps out of the way at 97. Ball 2. Fultonevich, a first-round pick of the Houston Astros. That was out of high school, 2010. He debuted out of the bullpen for Houston in 2014, and then came here to Atlanta in a trade for Evan Gattis in 2015. He gets Machado swinging with a fastball that had a lot of movement to it. His 6th K already.
You can manage your dream team in franchise mode, plus get weekly stats, roster updates, and more. RBI Baseball 18 is available now. Learn more at RBIGame.com. Rated E for everyone.
That's 2 Ks in all 3 innings for Fultonevich. And with 2 out, it's Max Muncy. Strikeout victim his first time. So how much of a breakout is this for Fultonevich? First 4 years in the majors, his ERA was near 5. It's at 2.85 right now, even with the downturn recently. A different kind of dad strength. And a 2-0 pitch. Muncy hits it hard, and Freeman stabs it on a bounce. The inning is over. But the Dodgers have tied it. Alex Verdugo in his first week back in the bigs hits his first home run of the season in the bigs to straightaway center. Middle 3, tied at 1. One. To the bottom of the 3rd we go. Back to the mound goes Clayton Kershaw. Our Lowe's whole team together looks at the Dodgers starting pitching, leading the National League this season with an ERA that defies the odds when you consider the injury issues that this rotation has gone through.
Next man up mentality truly has been the mantra for not only his club but especially the starting pitchers this year. 4/5 of your starters from opening day were on the DL at one time. Guys stepping up and filling in admirably. And the reason why they're here, first place in the division, still having that ERA. Look at all those that they ranked first in the NL. This really is impressive.
They've continued to get healthier. You saw Rich Hill turn in another nice outing last night. Kershaw trending positively, about a month back from the DL now. And more coming. Hyun-Jin Ryu making his way back. Nine 1-2 for Atlanta here in the 3rd. Foltynewicz, Acuna, and Albies. Strike 1. By the way, Alana Rizzo is going to visit live with Kike Hernandez next inning down in the Dodger dugout. I can promise you that will be a good, entertaining interview.
Kike, really?
Don't let me down, Kike.
But tell Alana, let Kike know that's what you said, so he won't let you down.
I'm not sure he needs any added motivation to be entertaining. Foltynewicz to Taylor, 1 out. Back to the top and Acuna. Ronald Acuna Jr. His dad, Ron Acuna Sr., was an outfielder in the Mets organization in the early 2000s. And Ron's dad was a hard-throwing minor league pitcher in the Houston system in the 70s. That is ball 1. First time that Ronald and his dad had a serious conversation about Ronald wanting to become a pro baseball player was when Ronald Jr. was 13 years old. Ron had a very serious message to him at that point. That's a bouncing ball. Left side of the infield, Muncy throws him out. Ron said, look, if you're going to do this, and I support you wanting to do this, but you've got to promise you're not going to repeat the same mistakes that I made. You got to lift weights. You got to take practice seriously. And most importantly, you've always got to hustle. Ron Sr. was a .307 hitter in the minors. Stole a lot of bases and said that he had the talent but didn't do the little things. And if he did, he thinks that he would have made it. Ron, who's only 38 years old still, has passed down those lessons to Ronald Jr., who listened to him, hasn't made the same mistakes, and reached the big leagues at 20. No balls, one strike on Ozzie Albies. 1-1. Another ground ball. 3 soft ground balls to the left side of the infield. And Kershaw with a lightning quick third in a 1-1 game.
Kike Hernandez getting the start off tonight. So how do you watch the game differently when you're starting versus when you're not?
When I'm starting, I play the game, and when I'm not, I watch it.
Very good. So you don't learn anything by taking it all in?
Yeah, I take it all in. I got the best seat in the house, field level passes, and yeah.
Fine, I get it. You would rather start. Yesterday, you guys get an 8-2 victory, only 1 home run from Manny Machado. So what do you say to those folks that say you guys can only win games via the long ball?
We also win without homers. That's what I tell them. But we're really good at hitting homers as well.
You guys are a very complete team offensively, but I want to talk to you about defensively. Who is more stressful to play defense behind? Who's more emotional on the hill, Clayton Kershaw or Rich Hill?
They both got a little bit of oh my God.
Oh dear.
Go ball. That's a Taylor.
If that goes out, you have to stay here forever.
We hit homers. That's what we do. How about yours? Yeah, they're both really intense guys. They both get really mad, but you know, I try not to think about it too much. I just
Let me get out of the way so you can say hi to Yasmani really quick.
give him the horns. Give him the horns, Alana. Give him the horns.
It's the Yasmani Devil. He's had one heck of a July. What do you think he's doing that's been so successful in this particular month? Yet another home run from Yaz.
He changed a little bit his batting stance. His hands are a little bit higher now. He looks a little bit more athletic, and so far it's been working great for him. He went. It seemed like 3 weeks ago he started off the season really well, and like up to like 3 weeks ago his season was just like a good season, but nothing special. And now I don't think there's many catchers having a better season than he is right now. So he's been huge for a lineup, and he's been a stabilizer. He's doing it from both sides too.
You'd mentioned that. You guys, you joke that you can hit home runs, but you can also do things the other way. You have 17 home runs already in the season. Speak to the depth of this lineup. When 1 through 8, you guys have double-digit home runs, about 9 guys.
I mean, yeah. Ball wasn't carrying that much earlier in the season because it was a little bit colder, and now that it's a little bit warmer, and I think everybody knows that the ball tends to carry a little better. But yeah, it's fun. It's fun when you got a lot of guys swing the bat well, and it's also fun to hit homers. And it'd be pretty cool to see how many guys can get to 20, 25 homers, and see how we end up against those teams back in the day with Steve Garvey, Ron Say, all those guys. I think those teams had like 3 or 4 guys with 30 homers, and I think that's going to be a little harder for us, but it's going to be interesting where we end the year at.
Matt Kemp earns the walk. That's something that he's been more focused on this year, being able to be more patient at the plate, getting that walk. Now, Joe Davis said that he guaranteed your interview was going to be good. Nice home run, by the way, Alex. Joe Davis said that it was going to be a good interview, and I said that I thought you were the funniest guy on the team. Take yourself out of the equation. Who do you think is the funniest?
Funniest guy after me?
After you.
Probably Rich, to be honest.
Just because of the way he runs the bases?
No, well, yeah, the T-Rex has nothing to do with it. His at-bats are great, are very entertaining, but I think Richie has a side that not a lot of people know besides the guys that play with him, and we love him. He's 62 years old, but you know, he behaves like a child, which is awesome. Just like me, my voice just cracked, but it's part of puberty, and Verdugo's is blocking our view, so hopefully you guys are getting a good view of Cody, because you can't see us.
Yes, our cameras, our cameras are doing a good job, but Cody's a left-handed hitter, and I don't want to get drilled. Thank you for your time. I appreciate it. Go back to your floor-level seats.
Absolutely. I got to earn my money and watch the game.
Okay, bye. All right, guys.
All right, Alana, thanks, Kike, for taking the time. Tried to play it cool like he wasn't fun and funny at first, but he couldn't hold back for the entire thing. Dodgers in front 2-1 on a Grandal home run, and now 1-2 to Bellinger bounces. It's 2-2.
So there might be over the course of the season when they're going to need runs, and you're going to see Kike when he's not playing. Hey, Alana, can you interview me? We need a home run.
Bellinger down on strikes. First time he's used the changeup to get it. We go back at Yasmani Grandal's 17th home run of the year.
And it's a drive to the opposite field as we look at our Volkswagen replay. I mean, this is a fastball that's tailing weight on the outer half. And Yasmani Grandal doing an excellent job staying on it. We know Yasmani Grandal, what I liked about it was, you know, his strength is down in the zone. Usually it's that ball, especially from the left side, the one that's down and in, or down over the middle of the plate. That one was up the zone. And when he gets it down, he usually pulls it down to right center or to the right field over the wall, but up in the zone, staying on it and still driving it the opposite way, showing off the power. It's a great swing.
Here's a 1-0 to Chris Taylor, and that's up. And then as far as Foltynewicz goes, same trend as when he gave up the first home run. He follows that with a quick walk. And you take it a step further, follows the walk with a strikeout.
Well, we were talking about how in the past, and it looked like over the last 3 starts, where he might just, when he's giving up runs, he doesn't know how to stop it from snowballing out of control, and maybe it's a bigger inning than he would like. Well, he only gave up 1 last inning, did a good job. I thought Kershaw did a good job, because if there's a guy like that on the mound, maybe he's upset about giving up that 1 run.
That's a high line drive to right. Markakis back. It's off his glove, and he's off the wall. A double from Chris Taylor has him at second and third.
But when you have a guy who may have a tendency to do that, and he gets out of that inning, but then Kershaw having a quick 1, 2, 3 inning to get him back on there and to get your guys swinging, then you get that leadoff home run like that. That's huge. And this was a tremendous swing as well from Chris Taylor. Matt Kemp, he couldn't do anything. He was right by second base. There's nothing. He had to wait because Markakis had a beat on it. Goes off his glove. So he really couldn't get just an unbelievable jump to possibly score on that ball if he was just running. Maybe it's a little bit different. There were 2 outs, maybe because he's just off and running with his head down, and maybe he might have had a chance to, you know, maybe score on that one. Nothing he could do. He read it perfectly.
And now Alex Verdugo to the plate. The last time Verdugo came up, went out to straightaway center field, his first of the season.
We're having a look at Carl's cam. Verdugo getting that ball on the inner half. Still managed to get the barrel, staying inside and driving it to center field. He hit it, and he knew it right when he hit it.
Scott Bennett second and third with 1 out. Dodgers 2, Braves 1 here in the 4th. And Verdugo takes strike 1. So an opportunity here for the Dodgers to put up one of those innings we've been talking about against Fultonevich. One of those crooked numbers against the All-Star, who fires 0-1. Verdugo rakes it foul, strike 2. .101 out of their 142 homers have been solo shots. Early on, the percentage was even higher. Remember, like the first month of the season or so, they weren't homering much, but it was almost exclusively solo shots.
Right, they seem to not get any with anybody on base, and they were asked about that, and it's one of those, they're like, I don't know why we're not hitting them with, but they didn't even have many, and then all of a sudden, even Kike touched on it. It got warm, and then we started hitting a lot more.
Verdugo flies it to left. Kemp with his foot in the bag at third will draw the throw and hang on. Acuna's throw wasn't right on the money. He's up the line a little bit. And they decide not to gamble. 2 out.
Just not deep enough. That was interesting. I thought they might try it. I know you don't want your pitcher to lead off the inning. No, you don't want to do that. But you're also counting on now your pitcher to have to come up with a hit rather than take a chance there on that one, because that was hit and kind of that in between, or is it shallow or is it just going to be deep enough? So that was that in between one. So that's the one where that's where you have to think about it as their base coaches. Those things. Well, do I want him not to lead off in case you get thrown out, or am I going to rely on him to have to come through and get a hit? Sometimes you just rather instead of worrying about that, take the risk, because it has to be a great throw. That was in the beginning, and we saw it up the line. He probably would have been able to score on that.
Fultonevich walked Kershaw's first time up there, and here he's fallen behind him 2-1. Homer walk and a double in the inning. On a 2-1 to Kershaw. He shoots a base hit to left. 2 runs will score on a Kershaw single that makes it 4-1. And for the second night in a row, the Dodgers starting pitcher contributing offensively.
That's why you hold them up.
Exactly right. Chris Woodward knew what was coming.
Clayton Kershaw, he did an excellent job getting the barrel to that one at the top of the zone. We've seen all the hits in this inning going the other way. You got Grandal with the opposite field home run, Chris Taylor with the opposite field double, and now Kershaw the other way, 2 RBI single.
Third time through the order now. Jock Peterson with a big rip and a miss, strike 1. Almost hit him. 1 ball, 1 strike. Foltynewicz not immune to what you see from most guys across baseball. You get through the second time in the order, and that's where most of the damage comes. This is slugging percentage. Third time through the order and beyond. Whole lot different story. 1-2. Although in this case, significant damage the first 2 times. 2 solo home runs and a 2-run single from Kershaw. Two and 2. Jock with a rare 2 strikeout game so far. As we've talked about on this trip, lowest strikeout percentage on the team. Foltynewicz has him for the 3rd time tonight. But the Dodgers break the tie with a 3-run 4th. It begins with another Grandal home run, 17th of the season, to the opposite field, bringing the bat drop. Kershaw followed with a 2-run single. Who rake. Rich Hill at a base hit last night to bring home Verdugo. Joked around that he wanted to steal second after he got there. And then Kershaw with a 2-out, 2-run single tonight.
Yeah, Rich Hill joked, but you know it was crossing his mind. He was thinking about it. And Clayton Kershaw, we know Clayton Kershaw as well. We've seen it over his career. He's not going to doing everything he can. And both these guys actually are saying, I'm going to be in a tough at bat. I'm going to give you a tough at bat somehow, some way, make you earn it.
That's not something that Kershaw was great at, even by pitcher's standards, early in his career. But as with anything that Kershaw's not great at, he goes about addressing that and worked very hard at his offensive game early on in his career. Takes a lot of pride in just kind of being a pest, being a tough out, seeing a lot of pitches, running that pitch count up. First time against Foltynewicz walked, and then the 2-run single that takes it from a 1-run game to a little more comfortable advantage here in the 4th. Freddie Freeman leads off this 4th inning for the Braves. Yeah, hits the first pitch foul. Freeman grounded to third his first time. Still, though, leading the National League in batting average. Top 5 in on-base percentage. Top 5 in slugging. for the Southern California native, Almudena High School in Orange County. Grew up an Angels fan. Was in the stands at Angel Stadium during the World Series in 2002. Can to this day recite that whole lineup. Digs that one out, and a worm burner into the shift. Muncy, one gone.
Kershaw, 7 of the 10 outs have been on ground balls.
Including 4 in a row, all of them very soft.
Yep.
That's what you're talking about early. May not, against this lineup, rack up many strikeouts with their high contact rate, but you've got a chance to initiate some weak contact, early contact, and get deep into the game because of it. That is ball 1 on Markakis.
And I think, I've noticed that more. And it seemed like when he came off the DL for Clayton Kershaw, where it isn't always just about putting guys away. Don't get me wrong, he has that ability and tries to. But I also think what he's done, he's added more. He's got like 2 different sliders now. Won't call it a cutter, but it almost has that cut action, maybe less of a break than his other slider that he has a tendency to put guys away in that back foot. But I think he institutes more of that other slider that has more of the cut action to induce the contact.
Another soft ground ball. 2 gone.
And it's not a bad idea to start looking at it that way when we touched on it. What's the book on Clayton Kershaw? Attack the first pitch, attack him early. You don't want to get behind and put it away. So if he knows they're going to try to attack him, and you see the average, as we talked about, nearly 400 on the first pitch against them. Well, then what do I need to do as a pitcher to change? Maybe feed off that and go, actually, maybe pitching to contact or more contact isn't a bad idea. Let them, they're going to attack, good, but what can I feature that'll miss the barrel? And that's really the essence of what a cutter, the pitch is for. It's not necessarily a cutter to strike out. A cutter has been more for missing the middle part of the barrel.
The head of Suzuki here 0-2. Got ahead 0-1 with, like you said, not something he'll call a cutter, but a tighter version of the slider that has the same effect. Oh, 2. Got it. 9 in a row retired by Clayton Kershaw. is brought to you by your Southern California Toyota dealers. Now with easy summer savings, get a great deal on a bold new Toyota Camry. Beautiful night here in Atlanta. It's pretty hot, but it's nice to look at. Dodgers 4, Braves 1, top of the 5th. Manny Machado to lead things off. Hotter today than yesterday, I think.
Yeah, but you know, I've been in Atlanta a lot worse, where
yeah,
you
for
really,
sure.
where you feel it. Yes, it's warm, but I don't know. It doesn't feel as humid as we've been here at other times. And
Machado, first pitch, hits one to the hole. It's short. He's got an infield single, his second hit of the night.
Swanson upset with himself because he gets to this ball and he knows it's. And as a shortstop, you love making just those great dynamic plays. You know, you love those plays that you help your pitcher out. And he knew that was an opportunity for one. It just didn't stick in his glove right when he got to it. He's like, it was a great effort.
Against a guy who makes plenty of them himself.
Yeah, exactly. And that's the other thing. You're like, you want to give it back to a fellow shortstop who knows what that's like and would understand. Still be mad at you, but would understand.
Yeah. Fly weakly to center. And Ciarte for the first out of the 5th. And now Grandal, whose home run was his 17th this year. His second against Fultonevich in the last 2 seasons. And he just keeps on carrying this offense at a time when they don't really need one guy to carry him. He's been something lately. It's probably not even appropriate to say he's carrying them, but is doing enough where he could at this point. One.
Well, he's found himself hitting 4th, maybe 5th at times, more part of the middle of the lineup as of late. A lot of that has to do with because the way he's swinging.
Fly ball to right field for Markakis. 2 gone. Talked about it a little bit off of the top, but how about same lineup back-to-back nights for the first time this year? Our statistician Rick Krajewski joked around on Twitter and said, is Dave Roberts feeling okay?
Right. It's like Dave Roberts wanted a day off. Said, listen, guys, I'm just going to take a little break today, or at least the early part of it, and just throw out the same thing and just do me a favor, just switch that pitchers. Just put Kershaw's name there at the bottom and we're good to go.
Yeah. I need a nap. You realize I've had to make a new lineup every single game this year?
Every day.
1 ball, no strikes on Kemp. Obviously kidding. But he got back-to-back right-handed pitchers. Had 8 runs last night. You and Alana have both talked about how the entire lineup produced. So why not? 1-1.
Well, Dave Roberts also, he plans so many days ahead.
Yep.
He's looking matchups. He's looking at the teams. He's looking at when guys may need rest. There's so many things he's looking at. So I guarantee you, when he was looking at these 2 matchups, he's like, if things go well and what I'm going to put out there, I can see myself doing the same thing because you got 2 righties out there. And I think they've, when you look at 2 looking ahead, and he's touched on it, When you look at like the bullpen, guys' arms, and some of the changes when you have a game when they had that extra inning game that goes that late, that changes things up. But now, we're far enough days away as far as from position players. Now it's not, hey, I got to rest guys. A guy played a long time. How do I give a guy a break? It's, okay, what lineup do I think is going to be successful? It was. Throw it back out there.
Kemp takes the walk. Second of the game for him. 2 on with 2 out. And you talk about him looking ahead. It's not just looking ahead a few days or a series or 2 ahead. It's in general thinking about the big picture of the season and wanting to keep his guys fresh and at their best when it gets to October.
And he always talks about when he gets interviewed, oh, what was your thought process here? Why? And he goes, oh, I want to keep guys relevant. I want to keep them current. I want them to keep them involved. And we've seen that. I mean, if you got a lineup here for the first time, we're talking about it being the exact same lineup. That's telling you that he utilizes everybody on a regular basis. So, yeah, it's a challenge to make sure that they're current and relevant and involved on a daily basis.
2-0 on Bellinger as Foltynewicz reaches 100 pitches tonight. Soft bouncer to Freeman at first. That's out for the Dodgers in the 5th. Halfway home in Atlanta. Dodgers 4, Braves 1. Side Joe and Nomar, and the Dodgers so far in this long road trip are 4-3. So a long ways to go in this game, but a chance for this team to put together a really good road trip against some really good teams to open the second half.
And we said that at the beginning of this series against the Braves. If they're able to win the series, they can come home and say that was a really solid road trip. Hopefully have some momentum as they're going to continue to play some quality teams in the next couple of series when they get back home. And right now, they're stringing on some good at-bats. They're getting a good pitching performance and hoping that continues.
Johan Camargo starting this 5th for Atlanta. 1 ball, 1 strike. Now opening the second half with 19 consecutive games against teams that started the second half with a better record than the Dodgers. A curve lands for strike 2. That includes a 2-game series with the Oakland A's. And I don't know if you've been paying attention to what they're doing, but the A's, of all teams, have been the best team in baseball the last month or so. Kershaw through the back door, 1 gone.
Yep, I know the A's have been playing fantastic as of late. And speaking of fantastic, look at this pitch by Clayton Kershaw. We talked about it early on. If he has control to the arm side and he's catching that corner, as a hitter, you recognize that, you're going, it's going to be a long night.
The A's have won 6 in a row. And the A's are 27-7 since mid-June. Ender Inciarte, ground ball up the middle, off the bag and into center. With a little bit of help from second base, Inciarte with a 1-out single.
For the Dodgers, it's unlucky that it hit second base because
Chris Taylor had a beat on this. He was on this ball. He was definitely going to,
it would have been a great play, but he definitely, you see him even got it, getting his feet ready to make the play, and then once it hit the bag and took that hop, that's when you just throw your glove up and hope maybe you find it.
One on, one out, and Dansby Swanson takes strike one. The A's are in Colorado starting tonight. So you've got the hottest team in the American League against the hottest team in the National League. I don't think anybody would have predicted either one of those teams would be near the top for this stretch. Colorado over the last month 16-5. Good catch by Bellinger.
Tell you, having a tall first baseman who knows how to pick it over there is just invaluable. Especially coming as an infielder, knowing that, oh, how many times they save you. Wow.
Fly ball short right. Muncy and Bellinger both over. Muncy makes the play. Bit of a tough angle. Max able to get there. 2 gone.
What's better than watching baseball and eating Dodger dogs? Watching the Dodgers win in Dodger dogs. And on Wednesday, August 1st, when the Dodgers host the Brewers, all fans can cheer on the Dodgers, and attendants can purchase $1 Dodger dogs, and you can buy up to 5 Dodger dogs per person per transaction. Visit Dodgers.com/promotions and hit the ATM for those $5 bills.
I'm telling you, the ones I think are probably the better route to go. I get what you're saying with the 5s. Maybe bring 1 5 and then a bunch of 1s.
I see.
I just don't want you to have to go in 5 dog increments.
Well, I'm just saying.
What are you, Joey
but
Chestnut?
they're Dodger dogs. Wouldn't you, for $1, wouldn't you want to max out? That's all I'm saying. Like I said, share.
Having the singles doesn't keep you from maxing.
No,
out,
it
though.
doesn't. No, I'm not saying you can't have singles. I'm just saying, you get up, watching the Dodgers, you can go to get line. If I'm going to do that, might as well come back instead of going back every single time. Because when you have one, you just can't have just one. You got to have another.
Yeah, 5.
So,
Michael Reed, ball 1. So Fultonevich finished after 5 innings. 101 pitches over 5 innings, and that has been part of the issue with him. More pitches per batter than anybody in the NL. Reed with a fly ball to left that sends Peterson to the gap to catch it. And the Braves are finished in the 5th. Clayton Kershaw continues his efficient night. Sportsnet LA is brought to you by Nissan. Choose Nissan today for great offers on our most exciting lineup ever. Shop ChooseNissan.com. Very cool thing here. This is Johnny Venters, who the Braves just acquired last night from Tampa Bay. Venters, you may remember, was an all-star with the Braves in a previous life and has become the first pitcher in baseball history to get back to the majors after a third Tommy John surgery. He'll face the bottom of the order, Chris Taylor. Strike one. He had his first Tommy John when he was in A-ball. That was as a 20-year-old way back in 2005. And then became one of the best relievers in the National League after recovering from that. Swing and a miss, 0-2. But also developed a bad habit of throwing way too many warm-ups. Always tinkering with side sessions and just racking up way too many reps on that arm. And the pain came back to his elbow in 2012. So he was hoping that he could just rehab it. Everything would be fine. But the elbow gave out again the following spring. So he had his second surgery. And a long grind rehab process, 14 months, finally back on a mound, ready to return to the majors, faces live hitters for the first time. And on the 7th pitch that he throws, he feels the same sensation that he felt when he was 20. Same sensation that he felt when he was 28. And a third Tommy John. And then this year, for the first time in 6 years, he pitched in the majors, and good enough for Tampa Bay that the Braves wanted him. Fly to right center field. Inciarte will catch it to retire Taylor.
That's love. That's perseverance. To be able just to overcome that just mentally. So you always hear guys when they have their Tommy John, and I know now when hearing so many guys who have it, it's amazing how many guys are recovered from that, and now what we see in baseball. But they talk about it's not just from the physical standpoint, but mentally to endure it and to rehab, but to do it 3 times is incredible.
Misses with his first one to Verdugo.
I'm just trying to think, because I know they usually use that tendon in your wrist to repair that. Well, you can understand too, you have one on each wrist. If you have a third one, what do they grab the tendon from to repair that?
That's a good question. I'll do a little research for you.
Thank you.
2 balls, 1 strike. Big cut. Just got a piece. 2-2. Hit hard, but right at Freeman. 2 up and 2 down. Kershaw to hit for himself. The corner, 1-1.
I wonder what the next pitching batting practice might be like between Kershaw and Rich Hill. You know, who's going to be talking more? I mean, Kershaw has the edge because he got 2 RBIs compared to Rich Hill's 1, but
And Kershaw's got a walk tonight,
He
too.
does, and it was a 2-out RBI. And right now, it's giving the edge to Kershaw. Rich Hill saying, yeah, but they were talking more about my RBI.
He's got his second walk. Clayton Kershaw has reached all 3 times tonight.
All right, I'm giving the edge to Kershaw now.
Yeah, no questions about it now. Dodgers in front 4-1 in the 6th as Jock Peterson gets ready to hit after another mound visit from Chuck Hernandez. This, by the way, is Peterson's first 3 strikeout game of the year. Only has 8 multi-strikeout games total. So he, for one, happy to have Fultonevich out. Ready for the left-hander Venters. Who misses inside, ball 1.
Well, we've talked about how much Jock Peterson's cut down on the strikeouts. We talked about how his approach at the plate has been more consistent and looks so much better. I mean, since the All-Star game, though, the second half coming into today, batting .500, 12 for 24.
Bounces one past the outstretched glove, but Swanson waiting for it. He'll step on the bag and send us to the bottom of the 6th. By T-Mobile. 3 solo home runs in this series for the Dodgers. Machado last night, Verdugo and Grandal tonight.
Well, the Dodgers leading the National League in home runs coming into this series. They've been utilizing the long ball an awful lot this year. The series has been no different. They have, what is it, 8 guys in double-digit home runs? 9? Might be
9 when you add Machado in.
Ah, he doesn't count yet. Yeah, 9 now. Wow.
Pretty home run reliant when you look at the record when they don't hit one. Clayton Kershaw back out there with his 4-1 lead. You know, talk about efficient. 54 pitches through 5 innings.
Yeah, if you look at those last 3 innings, he's averaged just under 9 pitches per inning. The last 3. We talked about it too. When you have a team, we touched on it right before, a team that doesn't strike out a lot, a team that swings a lot, they put the ball in play. That has to be your game plan coming in, knowing, well, Not about just trying to strike everybody out, but let's pitch to contact and try to induce weak contact and ground balls, and he has done that.
Top of the order, Ronald Acuna Jr. And opens the inning with ball one. This is the part of the game where Kershaw has run into some trouble. You compare the first 2 times through the order with his 3rd time through. A ball and a strike. And that right there, those numbers that you see, and we show it on pretty much every guy every single night. That's the foundation for the new style of managing with the bullpen that you're seeing. Why you're seeing relievers come in so much earlier in games, and you go 10, 15, 20, 50 years ago. Roller to short. Chris Taylor. Just the whole idea that a reliever coming out of the bullpen throwing 97 and fresh has a lot better chance to get you out than a tiring starter that the lineup has already seen twice.
But to take it a step further, Joe, than that, it's the data and the statistics are telling you that, and it doesn't even have to be 97. They say anybody. Right. You pull up anybody, regardless of that anybody happens to have an ERA of 5, 6. It doesn't matter. They seem to be better than, as far as batting average against, you see that we show it's better statistically than the starter facing the lineup the 3rd time.
I guess it just seems like everybody's throwing 97.
Right.
So.
No, but you're right. No, I agree. I'm like, well, I was thinking about that. We just came from a series with the Phillies. I think I counted 5 guys that averages 95 and above coming in their bullpen. It's like, yeah.
Takes off on Kershaw 1-1. It's almost like, you know, where 10, 15 years ago, a guy would come and hit 97 and you'd be like, whoa. Right. Now a guy comes and hits 92 and you're like, whoa, what's wrong with him?
We were talking about right before this game started, watching the All-Star game. The All-Star game, I think the first 4 or 5 innings we watched, it wasn't a guy who came in throwing below 96. And they were starters, and they were starters, not just guys coming out of the bullpen, but it tells you just the velocity that has increased in this game now. It's pretty amazing.
Elby's down on strikes, 2 up and 2 down as Kershaw gets his 5th strikeout.
Well, we were talking about inducing some ground balls, pitching to contact. Kershaw probably heard us and said, listen, I can get a strikeout as well. And he did a great job getting a fastball, climbing the ladder, get the swing and miss.
Freddie Freeman with 2 out in a 4-1 game in the 6th. Takes ball 1. The Braves with just 3 hits against Kershaw. 5 Ks and no walks. Only his 63rd pitch of the night. It's a 1-0 and it's ball 2.
The first time we see Kershaw drop down on that fastball.
Doing his Rich Hill impression and more than just his RBI hit. Strike 1. As you start to look at that pitch count at 64 with 2 out in the 6th, start to think about how rare it is to even think about a complete game this year and in this day and age of baseball. Kind of goes back to that same discussion we're having with guys more likely to be aggressive in the way they manage taking the starter out. There have been a total of 6 complete games in the National League. One of those belongs to the other starter tonight, Mike Foltynewicz. A 2-2 to Freeman. And a high fly ball that'll be easily playable for Matt Kemp. We are through 6 innings in Atlanta. The Dodgers 4, the Braves 1, and Kershaw locked in.
look at an exciting MLB All-Star week for the Dodgers that started with a fun performance from a breakout star and ended with the news of a blockbuster trade. Don't miss Backstage Dodgers presented by Cadillac tonight after the postgame show on Sportsnet LA.
An old dirtbag. Shane Carl played at Long Beach State. Nomar, you're looking at me like, wow, that's aggressive.
No, I know when you said that. I knew exactly what you're talking about. LB State.
Came over from the Rockies. Had a good year for the Braves. He faced Manny Machado to open this seventh. Strike one.
I'm kind of smiling to myself and chuckling because, you know, when the name the Dirtbags and how it's always about how they played and getting dirty and being aggressive. And a lot of people think Justin Turner, because the way he plays the game, thinking that he actually went to he went to Long Beach State, you're a dirtbag. He's like, no, I went to Cal State Fullerton.
A dirtbag that went to Cal State
right.
Fullerton. Said with as much praise as possible.
Right.
Turner went through some added activity today as he continues to work his way back from that adductor strain. Machado rakes it foul 1 and 2. Right at Turner. What is Kike doing? He just carried somebody on his shoulders.
Ducking. Well, I'll tell you, they seem to be loose in the dugout over there. They don't have any fun.
No. Uptight. There's Logan Forsythe that he took for a ride down his shoulders for a second. Manny Machado starting the Dodger half of the seventh. They lead it 4-1. Machado pulls it foul. Made his major league debut when he was 20 years old. Machado did. Talking about Ronald Acuna Jr. tonight. Debuting at 20. That was Machado at one point. Now the four-time All-Star. Checks his swing, 3 and 2.
I laugh because you got the umpire checking and you got Machado pointing as well. Watch Machado. Checks it, holds it up, and then he points.
Just ask.
Just
please ask.
No, yep, go over there.
So Manny's worked it full. 3-2. Got him swinging. Bottom fell out of it for Carl for the first out of the seventh. Machado's 2 for 4. Max Muncy coming up 0 for 3. 1 for his last 19. A few different slumps like this. 1 for 20-ish. As you said earlier, always seems to respond to those slumps very resoundingly. I've heard you talk about it. You won 2 batting titles, and you've said that you didn't necessarily hit better than everybody those 2 years, but you limited your slumps better than anybody those 2 years.
I felt because I was, and the reason I say that, it's not like I felt great every single day. And I managed to make sure that those days that I didn't become 2, 3, 4 snowball into a week. It was able to know what it took the next day, batting to get back that feeling that I was feeling when things were going well, and to get back on track.
2-0. Ball 3.
And I guess a lot of it me saying is to act like, oh, you must not have been in a slump all that year. You're going to have them. It's accepting that. It's, like I said, it's the key is those who know how to handle them and know how to get out of them quickly.
Strike 1. Got to imagine it helps that Muncy's approach and understanding of the zone is so innate.
No, it definitely helps. But even then, when you go in and you are not swinging well, their lack of confidence and they're not trusting, even like you seem like you don't trust the zone at times, or you're swinging at balls you usually don't, and that happens. And as he works a walk and does that, that definitely helps. But just because you're in a slump doesn't mean you can just say, oh well, I'll just walk right now because I don't feel good swinging. That's not always the case.
There's a board for Grandal, who homered earlier tonight. Look back at it. Our top tier play of the game brought to you by Arco.
Well, we were talking about how well Yasmani Grandal has been swinging the bat for the month of July. On base percentage over 500 for the month of July. And he continues swinging it well with that home run to the opposite field.
And it's not just been a bunch of singles, right? I mean, the on base percentage leads baseball this month, but the slugging is top 5. On this 1-0 from Shane Carl, he takes a strike in the corner. Sharp pitch. 1-2. Took this one. '29-year-old in the final year of his contract. With 1 on and 1 out in the 7th inning. Soft ground ball at second. It's Albies. 2 gone. Here's Kemp. Second multi-walk game of the season for Matt tonight. First one came in the final series of the first half. That's something Dave Roberts has continued to say. Yes, it's nitpicking because he's hitting as well as he is. But if there's one thing that you'd like to see him add, it'd be the willingness to take a walk when it's given to him. More and more you're seeing that. Now this 0-1. That's foul. Muncy at second with 2 out. Dodgers in front 4-1, 7th inning.
So far today, the Dodgers are 1 for 3 at runners in scoring position, and they got a big 2-out RBI, and that was from Clayton Kershaw in today's game.
Five for 14 in this series after they were 3 for 20 with men in scoring position in Philadelphia.
Yeah, in yesterday's game, they had more hits with runners in scoring position in that game against the Braves than they did against the entire series against the Phillies.
Another 1-2 to Kemp, who somehow gets a bat on it. And right in the knuckles.
That ball just kept coming after him, and I don't know how he ended up making contact with this ball. Like, oh.
And then how did it not break his back?
Yeah.
And another one too. Matt Kemp fouls it again. Back in Atlanta, where he played a year and a half. Traded this offseason. Back to where he started his career. Matt, born and raised in Oklahoma, actually grew up an Atlanta Braves fan. Watching the games on Turner. Ground ball is short. Dansby Swanson. Inning over. We stretch in Atlanta. Clayton Kershaw will go back to work with the Dodgers in front 4-1. Brought to you by Nissan. Hey, it's good to see home games on this calendar. Such a long road trip to open the second half, but it's winding down. Light at the end of the tunnel. 2 more in Atlanta. And then back home to Dodger Stadium on Monday.
Well, it feels long because you have that come right out of the All-Star break. You're going, wow, it's been 14 days and now at Dodger Stadium. Be nice to get a game back at Chavez Ravine.
Getting a look at a couple defensive changes here. Hernandez into the game at second as Nick Markakis takes strike 1. So Hernandez in the game at second. That moves Muncy to first. Verdugo's in right and Bellinger is now in center. So Matt Kemp comes out and you can plug Kike Hernandez into the 5 spot in the order. Quickly 0-2 on Markakis, and what a performance it's been from Clayton Kershaw, who has struck out 5. He's not walked anybody. He's given up 3 hits. One of the more efficient outings you will see in baseball in this day and age. A lot of early contact. It's a very aggressive lineup. 0-2 to Markakis. Ball 1. Next pitch, just his 70th tonight. Base hit into center. But Markakis has 2 of the 4 Braves hits, adding to his National League leading total.
We were touching on it coming in. We were showing how many career hits. One of those guys kind of flown under the radar over the course of his career, but he just hits, racks up hits, gets a nice one back up the middle.
Ho hum. He just quietly gets it done. Suzuki. It's 1-0. It is another shutout or another sellout tonight. It's back-to-back sellouts here at SunTrust Park. It's a whole lot different than when the Dodgers were here early August last year, when the Braves were well out of contention, as they have been pretty much the last few years, start to finish. Ball and a strike. There's some excitement around here now, though. Even though they've fallen on hard times the last few weeks, they're still right in contention in the East, within 2.5 of the Phillies. Still with a big gap between them and the Nationals.
And a lot of talk around Atlanta is, with that trade deadline looming, is what areas are they going to address? Ooh.
Ouch.
This ball just getting away from Clayton Kershaw. You can see how he's frustrated and upset with himself. That hit Kurt Suzuki square. Oh.
First time Atlanta's had a man in scoring position since the second, because Kershaw has held them in check so dominantly. It doesn't feel as close as it is right now. Tying run is up there in the form of Johan Camargo.
Yeah. And that's part, I mean, aside from how well he's been pitching and the frustration he had because he hit a batter. He's one of the few times we've seen him miss with his command on his pitches today, but it's going. Now he knows, because of bringing up the tying run.
Swing and a miss on a nice curve, 0-2. Camargo's 0 for 2. Kershaw struck him out his last time up with a backdoor slider. This time 2 on, nobody out in a 4-1 game in the 7th. Here comes his 0-2. Ball 1. Got it by him, 1 gone.
Good job by Clayton Kershaw coming back and getting the strikeout. Great strikeout here on Camargo, getting that high strike zone with the fastball, getting him swinging good location. Now it gives him an opportunity of what we've seen so far in this game is inducing the ground ball. Now possibly looking at, after a good strikeout, then getting that ground ball for a possible double play.
There needed to be hit sharply with Inciarte the way he runs. It's up, and it's ball 1. Inciarte's 1 for 2. Drove in the lone Braves run back in the second with a ground out. That gave him a 1-0 lead at that point. Dodgers tying it in the 3rd on a Verdugo home run and taking the lead with a 3-run 4th. 2 on, 1 out, 2-0, and Ciarte looks at a strike. Lined and caught it short for an inning-ending double play. Taylor flips it to Hernandez, and Kershaw at 81 pitches is through 7 innings.
Scouting report, position your fielders, and pitch to the scouting report, double play.
Sportsnet Dodgers.
Thank you, gentlemen. Clayton Kershaw through 7 innings efficient. 6 strikeouts, 0 walks, and 2 RBI from the Jay Hare School of Hitting.
Absolutely. Kershaw's doing it on the mound and with the bats.
Yeah, multifaceted. We'll see you guys after the game. Back to you, fellas.
All right, guys. Cody Bellinger attacks the first pitch that Jesse Biddle throws and singles into center to open the 8th.
Sounds like it went off the hands of Cody Bellinger, got in on him a little bit, might have broken the bat, but it's never hurts when it finds a hole and you get a nice single out of it, staying up the middle.
Jesse Biddle's 26, former first-round pick of the Phillies. Making his debut here with the Braves this season and having a good year. Chris Taylor takes ball 1. Speaking of debuts, how about this one, Nomar? On this date, exactly 100 years ago, at Ebbets Field in Brooklyn, Brooklyn sends a guy to the mound named Harry Heitman, 21 years old, faces 4 batters. They all get a hit. They all come in to score. He gets pulled and never pitches in the majors again. So his career ERA is infinity.
Infinity.
4 runs, no outs. 3-0 on Taylor. So Heitman, as soon as he gets back to his locker, packs up his stuff with the game still going on because there's not an out recorded yet, and goes straight to the Brooklyn Naval Yard. He had enlisted in the Navy a little bit before then and was on leave. That's how he got the outing with the Dodgers that day. They were the Robins at that point, but went back to the Navy for a while. Discharged a year later. Went on to pitch a few more years in the minors and then converted to first base, but never made it back to the majors. Taylor walks, and they're at first and second with nobody out.
The 2017 season was memorable for all-star pitcher Alex Wood, and now you can add him to your Dodger bobblehead collection. On July 31st, when the Dodgers host the Milwaukee Brewers at 7:10, the first 40,000 fans will receive an Alex Wood bobblehead, presented by Emirates. For tickets, visit Dodgers.com/promotions.
There are 19 guys that have career ERAs of infinity.
Oh, so there are more than just him. I was going to say.
Sharp grounder that Swanson stabs and starts a double play. A thing of beauty. Two gone.
This is an incredible play by Dansby Swanson. I mean, this ball was hit hard. It skips off the mound, so it takes a little bit of a different bounce. And the way he stays with it and snags this ball, oh, tremendous. And spinning around and tossing it perfectly to Albies for the double play. That's just unlucky because Verdugo scorches this ball. Just wrong guy to hit it to.
Rates is one of the best shortstops in baseball. Shows you why. Now it's Kershaw with 2 out, ahead 2-0. 2 walks and a 2-run single tonight. And no question for Dave Roberts sending him back up there. Kershaw's only thrown 81 pitches. Legitimate shot at a complete game. 3 balls, no strikes.
Even if he was the way he's swinging it this game, the way he's taking his walks.
It's a good point.
Probably was going to say, listen, no, Kershaw, I may be taking you out, but go hit.
Yeah. He's reached all 4 times tonight.
He's faced a couple of lefties today as well on the mound. Doesn't matter. Pitcher's rake.
Clayton Ohtani. It gives Jock Peterson a chance. Saw Peterson double against a left-handed pitcher last night. And part of Jock's emergence, no question, has been that they have limited his exposure to left-handed pitching. Most of his playing time comes against righties. But it's always good to see when he's given those opportunities him able to come through. Trying to do the same here against Biddle. Stroking one to left, right at Acuna. Hit it hard, but Acuna was there, and the Dodgers are finished in the 8th. They lead it 4-1 to the bottom half. Baseball on Sportsnet LA is brought to you by Infinity. Empower the drive. Clayton Kershaw 2 starts ago threw 108 pitches. He's at just 81 right now, and he goes to the bottom of the 8th with a 4-1 lead and a legitimate chance to go the distance in this one.
This is actually the first time that Clayton Kershaw has pitched past the 7th inning in this season.
He's got 6 Ks tonight, giving up just the 1 run back in the 2nd.
And as we look at, we got the slider, we know the back foot slider. We got the curveball, we know that's a put away pitch. And then he's been utilizing the command of the fastball. He's been using his more cutting action slider to induce the ground balls. Becoming efficient. And all of his pitches working to put people away.
Last complete game for the Dodgers was Rich Hill's loss in Pittsburgh when he lost the perfect game in the 9th, the no-hitter in the 10th last August. Last complete game win for the Dodgers was Kershaw on July 9th last year. Final game of the first half against Kansas City. Dansby Swanson leading off this 8th. Kershaw's 1-0. Strike 1. Kenley Jansen finding one that he likes and slowly making his way ready. 1-2. Mentioned it earlier, but in the National League total this year, there have been 6 complete games. Kershaw downhill with a 1-2, and Swanson takes it in the dirt. After Swanson, it'll be Culberson. Or is it Culberson and then Swanson? I don't know. Thank God for the nameplates and the numbers.
We got that show hair.
And the 5 o'clock shadows. Swanson takes curve in the dirt and runs it full. Somebody tweeted at Dansby Swanson and said, "Thanks for the autograph," with a picture of the autograph. It was Charlie Culberson's. And he says it's not the only time that the two have been confused. Uncanny, really.
Similar build.
Same position. Payoff. Base hit to left. And it is Culberson announced as the pinch hitter. Trying to tee up Ronald Acuna Jr. as the tying run here in the 8th inning. Charlie having a great year in his first year in Atlanta. Talked about it some last night, but one of those rare trades where both sides are pretty happy with how it's turned out so far. Culberson coming over with McCarthy and Kazmir and Gonzalez salary movements. The Dodgers getting Kemp out of the deal. Culberson's been the bright spot for Atlanta. Very important player for them this year, filling in when they've had injuries.
Yeah, over his last 53 games for the Atlanta Braves, hitting .311. And also been doing an unbelievable job at runners in scoring position, batting well over 300, well over close to 400, and runners in scoring position and 2 outs over 500.
1-1. Couple walk-off home runs. He's shown a flair for the dramatic in that regard in the last few years, as Dodger fans know well. One and two. .91 pitches into his night. Clayton Kershaw to the plate with a curve to get him swinging. 7th Kershaw strikeout.
Oh, we were showing right before this how he's been so effective today. It's been all of his pitches. It hasn't been just one. The hitter hasn't been able to just sit back and say, once I get 2 strikes, look for the fastball up. That's the way he wants to put you away. Or look for that back foot slider that he likes to throw against right-handers. The curveball, it's been everything that he's been able to utilize and get the strikeout.
It's a big one there to keep Culberson off of the bases, and so Acuna doesn't represent the tying run. He shoots one back of first and foul. With a hitter or with a pitcher like Kershaw, you as a hitter just hope that on a given night you can eliminate at least one of the pitches, right?
Exactly. And that's something you're talking about when you go back to the dugout. The guys, he's not getting his curveball over right now. You lay off of that, look for something, but then you start setting your sights somewhere else when you're looking for the pitches. Or when say the slider's not working, he can't put you away, look for that breaking ball, or it's the fastball. But when you can't eliminate one, against a guy like Kershaw, makes for a tough night.
On an 0-1, Acuna watches a curve miss. Ball and a strike. Acuna's 0 for 3 tonight, 1 for 7 in this series with a long home run last night. A 1-1 pitch. Ball 2. Next pitch will be the 15th of this 8th inning for Kershaw. It's a 2-1, and it's hit foul. It's been rare tonight. He's had to go this deep. 15 pitches, matching the most that he's thrown in an inning. It probably means that he's not going to go the distance in this game, but trying to get through 8 and hand it off to Kenley Jansen for the 9th. The 2-2 struck him out looking. Back-to-back Ks after the leadoff single. An 8 total tonight.
Just hits his target. Beautifully placed fastball. Wants it in, maybe a little bit higher than he wanted, but he gets it in there. Placed perfectly. Even if he swings at that, that's tough to put that ball in play. You're hoping that foul it off and try to get another pitch. Great pitch by Clayton Kershaw.
Huge batter here with Freeman on deck and 2 out in the 8th. Ozzie Albies strike 1. Dodgers have done a good job with Albies. He's 0 for 7 this weekend with 4 Ks. Swanson at first, 2 out. 0-1 to Albies. Pumped foul, and it's 0-2. Kershaw trying to finish his night with a flirt. It's already is the first inning that he's had multiple strikeouts in. And he's got a chance to follow the leadoff single with 3 in a row. '100th pitch is an 0-2, and he barely stays alive. It's been more of the same for Clayton against Atlanta. Another 0-2 pitch. Floated to short center, base hit for Albies to get Freeman to the plate, representing the tying run.
And that's big for Atlanta to be able to get your best hitter to the plate, representing that tying run. Albies just poking that at the center field, just getting it off the end of the bat.
Dave Roberts coming out. Certainly tough decision for him here. Do you stick with Kershaw, give him a chance lefty on lefty against Freeman, or do you go to Kenley Jansen? Kershaw waited as long as he could to face Dave Roberts, and he's not going to make it easy on him.
You're facing a hitter that has a lot of success against left-handers. So it's not surprising, because going, wait, why would you go to a righty, left-hander? Well, Freeman, you even talked about it, best average amongst lefties in all the major leagues, left-handed hitter, batting well over 300 against lefties, and he's also, this is the 4th time he's facing Clayton Kershaw. So after seeing him 3 times, like, listen, let me bring in our closer so he can do his job, and high fives all around for Clayton Kershaw.
Manager Dave Roberts decides to pull Clayton Kershaw out with a tying run up there in the form of the MVP candidate Freddie Freeman, calling on his closer Kenley Jansen. flies the first pitch that he sees to left center, but no big deal for Cody Bellinger. And on one pitch, Kenley Jansen ends the inning. And Clayton Kershaw can smile and breathe a sigh of relief. 4-1 to the ninth.
August 5th will receive their very own Junior Dodgers backpack, courtesy of High Chew. When the Dodgers host the Astros, for tickets, visit Dodgers.com/promotions.
A.J. Minter into the game for the Braves as we go to the ninth, and it is still 4-1.
A.J. Minter has never blown a lead in his career. He's been perfect. 16 for 16 in holes chances, and has converted all 5 of his save opportunities this year. Just tells you how effective he has been in his rookie season.
He'll face 2, 3, and 4. Machado's 2 for 4 tonight. And on the first pitch of the ninth inning, he takes a big cut and misses. Cars were set to arrive for Yaini and Manny in Los Angeles today. It's always an adventure getting the cars shipped, right? And he's had to go the maximum distance from Baltimore to LA. And he has been in LA getting him settled in as far as housing. So that'll all be ready to go when Manny and the Dodgers come home Sunday night. One of the benefits to a 10-game road trip to open the second half and open his time with his new team. On an 0-2 from Minter. Machado pulls it foul.
Oh my goodness, almost. Wow. I mean, that's really hard to do, to hit a line drive, square it up, and pull it that much into the dugout. I mean, how nobody got hit over there.
Turner's putting on the catcher's mask.
Oh my goodness. Watch this. Oh.
Dave says that way. Lines up, striking out for the first out of the night. Clayton Kershaw tonight, 7 2/3. Dave Roberts decides to go to Kenley Jansen. If it works, it's brilliant. If it doesn't, you wonder why he didn't leave him in.
Right.
First pitch, Freeman flies out to center. And the decision works.
I was thinking how big that at bat right before Freeman came up, Albies, how he just reaches out on a curveball and hits it off the end of the bat and drops it in. And he was fooled on it, just stayed on it. And if found some grass, and I was like, oh, is that the one that's going to knock him out and change this game?
Minter to Muncy, 1-0. Strike one. Looking ahead to the bottom of the ninth, heart of the order, Markakis, Suzuki, and Camargo. Jansen tries to get a 4-out save. One and two. Diamondbacks opening a series in San Diego tonight. They're just now underway. They made a move today, getting Eduardo Escobar, infielder from the Minnesota Twins, who's leading baseball in doubles this year. 2-2. Rockies have a 1-0 lead on the A's, top of the fifth in Denver. Been so much movement before the actual deadline itself. It's like we're gonna have like a quiet deadline day. All the moving and shaking done by then. Jay Happ go to the Yankees yesterday. Cole Hamels to the Cubs. I mentioned Escobar to the Diamondbacks, and Asdrubal Cabrera going to the Phillies tonight too. Another 2-2 to Muncy. Got him. 99, 2 out.
That might be the case, and I think a lot of teams are obviously making their moves earlier. We saw the Dodgers where they did it with Machado because they know this stretch that they're going on. I'm sure some of these teams are looking ahead. Maybe some of their teams they're playing, they're like, why are we going to wait till the deadline? You know what they want. The deal looks good, get it done. And oftentimes we even see deals done after the deadline. You see that quite often.
It's not one that Dodger fans remember fondly, but Curtis Granderson came over after the deadline last year as an example. Of course, Justin Verlander, there's a great example of one that went down just before the non-waiver or the waiver deadline, the end of August last year. One-on-one on Grandal. So the way that works is once you get into August, you can still do a deal. It just has to go through waivers, which means based on waiver order, where your record is, where you rank as far as your record among the other teams. Teams below you have a chance to say, no, we don't want to let that deal happen. We would rather have the guy, and they could block it. So a little more difficult to get deals done. Sometimes you see deals with players that have bigger salaries attached to them go through in August because people don't want to get in the way of those. Three-one. Full count. Minter strikes out the side in the top of the ninth. Very impressive stuff. To the bottom of the ninth we go. 4-1. Jansen trying to finish it off. jam in the 8th inning, and now he'll face the heart of the order, leading 4-1 in the 9th.
Kenley Jansen was hoping to get in at bat there. You know, we know he likes to hit, so we're thinking, oh, the Dodgers, obviously they would have had to go through the order there, but still, he's out there putting some runs up. And we're already talking about how the pitcher's BP, you got Rich Hill and Clayton going to be talking to each other, but Clayton might have won that one after today's performance at the plate.
First time in his career he's reached 4 times in a game. With a hit and 3 walks. More importantly, 7 2/3 on the mound. Handing it to Jansen, who comes home with the first pitch to Nick Markakis. Strike 1 at 93. National League All-Star teammates, Jansen and Markakis. Markakis has 2 of the Braves' hits tonight. There's more than anybody in the league this year. Quickly, no balls, 2 strikes. Ball 1. Wow, what an incredible job to get a piece of that pitch.
We touched on it. They swing a lot, and but they don't strike out a lot. Find a way to put the ball in play. They did that against Kershaw today. You know they're going to find ways to stay alive on tough pitches.
Markakis swings and misses less than any player in baseball. On a 1-2. Jansen does what not many people do. Gets him to swing through a fastball at 95 for the first out of the 9th.
Slight hesitation, and then gets the cutter at the top of the zone. The velocity behind it and the location.
We've seen a couple outings recently where it's at 90-91. And it had the cutting action too. One out in the 9th. Kurt Suzuki climbs in. Jansen comes home. And that one had some tailing action to it for ball 1.
About to say, what we've seen is when he goes, when we've seen him at 90-91 with the cut action, we've seen him go to the 2-seamer, and we've seen him kind of mixing that 2-seamer in more often.
There's a strike. Quick pitches him and gets strike 2. He's gotten more and more creative as his career has gone on. Not a whole lot of creativity in the pitch selection, and that's okay. The cutter is dominant as any pitch in the game, but varying those deliveries more and more. The 1-2.
That one I think was more of the 2-seamer going down and in. Shook off to get to that pitch.
Shakes 3 times. Grandal setting it low and away. A 1-2. Goes to the slider and Suzuki takes it.
It's really interesting that the last 2 pitches he's shaking to go to get away from the cutter.
Back to it here. We'll do it again.
It's interesting where you don't know. We know his bread and butter is the cutter. Oftentimes he might shake to get to the cutter, but he shook a few times. One to get the 2-seamer down and in, and then we saw him shake 3 times to get to the slider away.
Not sure we've ever seen him shake this much in an outing. A 2-2. Fly ball to left center field, but easily playable out there for Jock Peterson, and the Braves are down to their final out.
He missed his spot, but he got away with it. He wanted that ball up and in on Suzuki, and it doesn't get it up there. He ends up hitting in the middle of the plate, and Suzuki mad at himself because he just missed it. Watch, look where Grandal set up. Wants it in the other half, and see it goes right down the middle. Looking for that, trying to get that cutter up and in. Made a mistake, but gets away with it.
Well, we've seen that more than Kenley would like this year. He's already given up more home runs than he gave up last season. Largely because of that. Most he's given up in a single season. He's matched that with a 6 that he's allowed. But a perfectly placed cutter for strike 1 on Camargo. Generous strike here. 0-2.
Surprised he got this call because you see him out there, but he wanted it down. How much Grandal really had to move the glove. But he gets the call, comes back, closes it out.
And the game is over. Dodgers win it 4-1. Clayton Kershaw 7 2/3 tonight, and then Kenley Jansen 4 up and 4 down, and they've taken the first 2 games of this set from Atlanta.
Really about Clayton Kershaw. What